Today I'll make some changes that will have a big impact on the look of our garden and will help us transition the garden into the fall and winter. If we're going to have a successful winter garden this year, I've got to get more sunshine on the beds inside our hoop house. And that means the tomatoes and beans that grew up the hoops all summer long have to go. I've removed some of them, but I'll remove the rest today. And though I'm going to miss them a lot, it's time to cut back these sunchoke stalks. I love the way they tower over the garden in the summer, and right now they're about 12 feet tall, but they're shading out our winter garden, and it's time for them to go. I'd prefer to wait until after our first frost to cut back our sunchokes, and our average first frost date is only days away. But according to our extended forecast, we won't be having a frost for quite some time. So to get some more sunshine on our winter garden bed, I'm going to go ahead and cut these sunchokes back. Though I'm cutting back the sunchokes today, I won't actually harvest any. They're supposed to taste better after the first frost, so I'll wait until after the first frost to start harvesting. And when I do harvest, I'll just harvest what we need for meals, and I'll leave the rest of them right here in the ground. Sunchokes don't store very well in the refrigerator, but they store very well in the soil. And over the winter, to enable us to continue harvesting, I'll cover this little bed with storm windows to keep the soil from freezing, and that way we can continue our harvest through the winter. The two biggest concerns people have about sunchokes is that they're invasive and that they cause gas. Now we found that by growing them in a small raised bed like this, we are able to keep them contained. Every spring I do have to pull up a few that escape, but otherwise they stay pretty well in this raised bed. And as far as gas goes, my wife and I find that as long as we eat them in moderation, they're not too bad. It's kind of like eating beans. But some people are very sensitive to them, so it varies from person to person. And you'll probably want to try sunchokes before you actually try growing them. Try eating them first. When I cut back the stalks, I'll leave enough of the stalk in place that I can come in and pull it up when I want to harvest sunchokes. That way I'll get a nice big clump of sunchokes up with just one pull. We like our sunchokes roasted, and we also have a sunchoke soup recipe that we really enjoy. I'll put a link in the description. And again, as long as we eat them in moderation, they don't bother us. All we have to do to make sure we have another sunchoke harvest next year is to not harvest all of them. We'll leave some of them in the ground to produce the next crop. Okay, I think I've cut all the stalks. Now let's remove the support from the trellis and get these into the compost pile. I've got them connected to the trellis with a bungee cord. Hey Oscar, you here to witness the event? Well, I didn't think this through, did I? There they are. Sunchokes produce an incredible amount of biomass, and our compost pile is already about 2/3 full. But I'm going to try to get these in there. I'm going to have to cut them up quite a bit, and that's going to take a while. Okay, I'm going to start chopping these up to see if I can get them into the compost pile, and when I'm done, I'll be back. Well, I have to say that these plants have fit into the bin much better than I expected. The bin is full of red wigglers, and this will give them a lot of food and some insulation from the cold. All right, very nice. Now let's go take down the trellis that supported the sunchokes. Many of you have asked me how I keep my sunchokes from toppling over in the wind. And now that the sunchokes are down, you can see our 8-foot tall lattice trellis. It's not nearly as tall as our sunchokes were, but it's tall enough to keep them from falling over. We attached the sunchokes to the trellis with twine and bungee cords. Now let's remove the trellis. Okay, with this out of the way, our winter garden is going to get a lot more sun. And next I'll remove the last of the tomatoes and beans from the hoops. Wow, what a difference it makes back here with those sunchokes gone. There won't be any more of me popping out from behind the sunchokes for a while in my videos, at least until next summer. Now let's remove the last of our tomatoes and beans that were here on the hoops of the hoop house. I've already harvested all the ripe crops. Now let's remove them so these winter crops can get some sunshine. I've already harvested most of the ripe beans and tomatoes, so we'll just remove the plants and put them in the compost bin. Growing beans and tomatoes up the same supports is something I've been experimenting with, and I've been happy with the results. I'll probably do this again next year. We had an incredible bean harvest this year, and lots of tomatoes too. Let the sun shine in. Not much sun today. Okay, well, I'll wrap up here. I'll be back with you in a moment. Well, this is the last of it. Let's get this in the compost pile, and my work for the day will be done. What a huge difference that made. I've been hardening off these winter crops that you see behind me, and now that this area is open and there will be more sunshine, I can go ahead and plant them out. If you enjoyed this look into what's happening in the One Yard Revolution garden, please give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos on how to grow a lot of food on a little land without spending much or working harder than you have to. So what do you think about the sunchokes being gone, Oscar? Huh? You gonna miss him? No? Okay, good. Oh my goodness. There you go. Oh, he's dangerous. Alright, say goodbye, Oscar. This is a very exciting time of the year for us. But there are also times when I completely ignore the spacing recommendations on seed packets. We usually see the first signs of powdery mildew on our squash plants in August, but without fertilizers, where does the nitrogen come from to replenish the nitrogen taken up by our crops? To illustrate my point, let's look at two counties where I'd love to have a garden. But for most of our garden waste, our easiest to use compost bin, so to speak, is the garden itself. This variety really likes the cold, so I didn't start planting it until early September, but even that turned out to be a little bit too early because some of our plants bolted during our recent heat wave.